Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show. We are joined by an absolute titan of music, it's a people's history of music here on the Jake Feinberg Show. Gildo Mahones, welcome.
Okay, how you doing?
How you doing, man?
Okay.
People are inspired to see you out there, man.
Okay.
They're seeing you worldwide.
Okay, you got a camera?
We're right here. Can you just, what was that tune? You just warming up, or were you playing a tune there?
Yeah, that was All God's Children.
All God's Children.
Yeah.
It said you had this thing, Wrap Your Troubles in Dreams.
Yeah. Yeah.
You play that?
If you remember that. Well, that's going back.
It's going back.
It's going back.
Gildo. Hey, Gildo, I want you to talk to the audience about growing up in Spanish Harlem. Who was the first cat that who were some of the leaders in that community, or in musician-wise, that you looked up to?
Actually, I grew up there, but I wasn't into music at that time.
What were you into?
I was a baby.
Yes, and the music was not. So when did you get the bug?
I didn't get into music. Did I tell you the story? I don't know if I told you.
You're talking to the world right now, brother, so you can tell the story to the world.
Okay, well, what was happening was that my mother used to go to church. They used to go to church all the time. And they used to drag me back down to church. So I used to listen to people sing in church, so I liked that. But actually, there was a lady that played the piano, so my mother thought I should play the piano. So she sent me to have lessons. So I would have a lesson. I think it was 75 cents or 70 cents, I don't know, something like that.
70 cents for a lesson?
Yeah, something like that.
That's great.
And it might have been even cheap right there. So she gave me the lesson, and the first week, she had me play the scale.
Right.
Do, re, mi, that's all I see. And the second week, I came back and played it, but I played the wrong note. So she got upset about that, took my hand, and wrapped my knuckles with a ruler.
But there are no wrong notes.
Well, she wanted me to play the scale.
She wanted you to play the scale, so she wrapped your knuckles.
Yeah, because I played one note out of tune.
Right.
So I didn't like that. So instead of going back to her the next week, I didn't go. But I didn't tell my mother. So that happened for a couple of weeks. So my mother found out that I was going, and she got mad. And then I didn't touch the piano till, at this time I was living behind the Apollo on 26th Street. So we moved a few blocks away from there, and into a three family house.
Wow.
Bounce or whatever you call them things. and we were in the middle floor. And there was a family living upstairs above us, and they had a piano. They moved out, left the piano, because they didn't want to be bothered carrying it, moving it and all that. So my mother found out about that. In the meantime, I had like a little paper route. I used to sell papers. And I saved somebody $5 to buy a Brownie camera. And it was back in those comic books at that time.
Absolutely.
So anyway, I was sick at that time. I was in bed, I remember correct. I put the $5 into the top of the dresser. My mother found out about this piano, came in the room, took the $5, and paid 2 guys to move the piano into her apartment. So I didn't like that either, because she took the $5 and I wanted for a camera. I didn't want the piano. So for a long time, I didn't even mess with the piano. Then one day, as I was passing the piano, which was in the living room going to school, I started picking on little notes. Whatever, I was picking little melodies. And I started getting interested. And my stepfather was a merchant seaman, brought one of his friends from a ship to the house for dinner. And this cat sat down and played Teddy Wilson, Art Tatum.
A stride kind of, or boogie, what was that? What would that look like? What did that sound like?
Well, what he would play, as I can see, I can't see. Oh,
You're fine.
no, I'm not fine. Because, I didn't tell you. I lose my sight.
It's all right.
So I can't see out of this eye. Left, right eye.
We're all flying blind. You're playing beautiful, man. But you heard with the melodies, the melodies in yeah. Wow. But that was just coming out of your head. The melodies were coming out of you.
Yeah. So where was I?
You were behind the Apollo. You were living behind the movers moved the piano into your house. You still didn't like it.
So, the guy came to the house.
And you look at the camera, right? Look at me. Yeah.
So the guy came to the house, started playing. I was intrigued because he was playing all these different things, runs and all that kind of stuff. And he decided to give me lessons whenever his check was in town. And he would come and give me a lesson. And they would give him, they'd have anybody. They would give him dinner, like that. And he'd give me a lesson. So, but I was a teenager at this time. When I first started out, that first lesson, I was 7 years old.
Wow.
And the first thing happened. The lady wrapped me on my necklace. So it wasn't until I was about 13 or 14 that this happened with the piano.
Sure.
So anyway, that's when I started.
Do you remember your first gig, your first paid gig?
Oh boy, let me see. First paid.
Well, let's talk about this.
I think it was. Yeah. I think it was the YMCA, something like that.
Solo piano, or
No. It was with a neighborhood. We had a neighborhood band. It was called the Young Dukes of Rhythm.
The Young Dukes of Rhythm.
Yeah, and it was just cats around the neighborhood. We had drums, bass, piano, and a saxophone. And we got little gigs, and one of the first gigs we had was at the YMCA. And the other thing I ran away from, I didn't run away from home, but I left home in a circus that
You joined the circus?
you could say that. It was a circus that they used to play state fairs. It was called Setland and Wilson.
Mm.
And they would play like the Atlantic Seacoast. And they were all over. And they had like I said, they had it was a fair. So it was like a circus, like. And in the fair, we had a tent, and it was called Straight from Harlem, that tent. And they had a group, a tap dancer, a singer, and Young Dukes of Rhythm. Our little band, and we would play for them. That was one of the first gigs that I remember playing.
People have been asking, this is Gildo Mahones, a legendary pianist, a monster player, and, just somebody that the Jake Feinberg Show loves to covet. And just to be clear, there's some confusion. You had your first lesson when you were 7 years old. The teacher rapped you on the knuckles. The next time you actually decided to hit the ivory was as a teenager.
Right.
That's right. All right, I want you to talk to the audience about Minton's Playhouse and the trio that you were in, and then the evolution of it growing into a bigger ensemble.
Okay, well, sure that I was in, because I used to hear, what happened was this with Playhouse. We went there as the Young Dukes of Rhythm. I had like an open mic, is what they call it. And we went there, played, and the people enjoyed the band. And one of the guys in that group, his name was Freddie Jackson, and he played alto.
Yeah.
And so we went and played. We did a set. The guy that emceed was Lockjaw Davis. He emceed the show.
Lockjaw was emceeing the show.
Well, he emceed. It was like an open mic.
Yeah.
We call up people over.
I did.
Okay, so we youngsters, teenagers, so we went there and played. So people enjoyed what we played, and they started clapping it. So, Freddie wanted to play Cherokee. I told Freddie, don't play Cherokee because I don't know the bridge. So he jumped to it anyway. He didn't know the bridge either. So anyway, we got so now Lockjaw, Sweets, and whoever was there was, when we first played the first part of the song, they went down in their head. I said, yeah, people can play. We had played the blues and they enjoyed that, so they figured we could play Cherokee. So we were waiting for this, and they were waiting for the bridge. So we got to the bridge, it was a train wreck. But anyway, we got through that. So.
But you were playing with Kenny Clark and Percy Heath.
Oh, okay. No, but this happened after that. After that, I started hanging out at Minton.
Dig.
And Kenny, I guess, heard me fooling around with the piano. He hired me, and he had
beautiful.
a trio.
That's so beautiful.
And it was Kenny Clark, Jesse Hendricks, and myself in that trio. So after a while, Teddy Hill was the manager of the Minton's Playhouse at that time. He wanted to make a larger group, make it. So he hired, they got together, him and Kenny Clark got together, and they hired some more pieces, and the pieces were Mel Jackson, Jesse Vibes, Jesse Driggs, and trumpet, and
Sonny Rollins.
And tenor.
Just to be clear, the trio was Kenny. It was Kluke, Percy Heath,
Yeah.
and Junior Mance, and then it became you.
No, Junior Mance wasn't there.
He was the one before you.
Junior Mance wasn't there. I don't know where you got that.
Yeah, no, that was so.
No, you got that from Press, but Press wasn't.
How did Kluke's drum? I mean, Kluke is literally the
sound it used to be.
The innovator of that bass drum, using it for rebound. How did it stretch your ears insofar as like creating vocabulary on the piano?
Well, you could hear it, like he would drop different, what would you call
Bombs.
bombs and things that it make the music more interesting or more exciting. Because before that, the drummer would just play tap tap tap, just
4 on the floor.
yeah, 4 on the floor. But he syncopated. With syncopation, it was different. So he did that, and so that's one of the things that he had. He put instead of on the bass drum, he put it on the cymbal.
Put the time
No, the time. He put the time in the rides.
on the ride cymbal.
Yeah.
So, people are asking, could you play a tune that maybe a composition that is near and dear to you, or even wrap your troubles in dreams?
Oh my goodness, you're asking me for things that
I'm pulling a lot out of you, man, but people are having a ball. Watch, they are loving this, dude. Gildo Mahones, absolute hero. Play what you feel, man.
okay, because I can't. I'm having trouble seeing the keys. You know that, right? I'll play this one.
Yeah. This is such a high honor to be with Gildo Mahones. When you hung out with Lou Rawls, who'd you meet in the army?
Oh, at the army, I met Barry Harris.
You met Barry in the army.
Yeah,
When you were in the air where
I,
you?
I didn't meet I didn't meet Lou Rawls. I met Barry Harris because I was in the radio school. They sent me to radio school, and Barry Harris was at the radio school also.
Wow.
So that's how I met him. And then I found out later this. I found out because I was at Fort Bragg, and I found out later that Lou went to Fort Bragg, but that was the years after I had left.
Who went there?
Lou Rawls.
Rawls. Really?
Not at the same time.
Oh, okay. That was okay. That from our first interview. But I mean, when you met Barry, it's fair to say that you guys were making up the rules.
Well, when I met Barry, like I said, I was at radio school, and he went to, I think he was a linesman. I was a radio operator. And we would go to the service club, and I was over the piano and play something, and he was messing with the piano. So we got to be friends.
Yeah.
And
You guys both like to mess around with piano.
yeah, so he got to talk. Got to talking one day, and he was telling me how he had this idea of taking groups of people that used to hang around and call it singing and doo-wop thing.
Absolutely.
And
Were you into doo-wop at all?
no, not me. I'm talking about Barry.
Yeah, right. Go ahead, go.
I was into jazz. I wasn't into none of that.
Right on.
But he had this idea of taking those groups and rehearsing them. And anyway, that developed into Motown. That's what I'm trying to get with the Supremes and all that kind of stuff. But he had the idea that he was talking about it there.
The idea was to match jazz rhythm sections with vocalists.
More or less. Or
Because I mean, Barry Gordy. Did you meet Barry in the Army? Is that
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Barry Gordy.
you said Barry Harris?
No, I'm sorry.
Barry Gordy.
I'm talking about Barry.
Barry Gordy. That's right. So Barry had the concept already in
Right.
doo-wop.
Yeah. Well, that's so much to it, but he had the concept of taking groups that he heard singing in the corner, like developing the groups and rehearsing them.
Absolutely.
And to the point that became groups like the Supremes or whatever groups was popular at that time. And he would rehearse them, had music written for them, had the whole package. He developed the whole package.
Oh, he pulled Jamerson and Pistol Allen. He pulled those guys right out of the jazz. They were jazzers, man.
Right, but because he wanted to rehearse the groups.
Right.
So he got the jazz players to play the music. He would have it was all in got all these people together. He would have the jazz groups play the music. Rehearsed these little groups that he had in mind. They would rehearse all day, and they had the jazz players music for them play the music. Because they were more adept to playing it quickly
Right.
than the rock and roll or the rhythm and blues guy.
Were you on? Did you go on the? Were you on with an R&B band? I mean, Sonny Rollins was.
Yeah,
Coltrane.
I was with Joe Morris. Joe Morris.
Joe Barris.
No, Joe Morris.
Joe Morris.
Yes.
So-
He had like what you call a jump blues band.
Absolutely.
Blues band. And he had a hit at that time called Anywhere, Any Place, Anywhere, Any Place, Any Time. And I was with that version of that band. And that was the more or less the first rhythm and blues band that I started working with.
And it's fair to say that you were playing that music before you were playing jazz.
Oh yeah, I was playing that before I was playing jazz.
How did it help your jazz playing by being rooted in the blues
Right, that's how they were playing the blues all the time.
all the time?
That was music. Rhythm blues, jump tunes and things like that. And so I was used to playing that. And it wasn't until later on. Oh, it wasn't until a friend of mine, a drummer, he's a Charlie Simons. He was the drummer, percussionist, about our age. And he brought us over to the house. He brought the young Dukes over to the house, his apartment. And he said, "You gotta hear this. This was the late 40s,
Mm-hmm.
40, whatever. What's the late 40s? And it was Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie record. And it was Sure Enough and Hot House. That was the record. And that was the first time I heard that type of music.
I guess, did they refer to it as bebop, or was it journalists like me that called? They just called it new music.
Well, Dizzy called it bebop.
Dizzy called it bebop.
Yeah. That's how he got his name. But anyway,
Yeah.
that was the first time I heard Dizzy and Bird.
Oh yeah.
And that shook me up. I said, "What is this?" I said, I don't know what they're doing, but whatever it is, I got to learn how to play that. So because up to that time, I'd been playing rhythm and blues. So that took me to the other direction.
People are wondering if you could play a blues. Just play just a blues with bebop inflection. Legend Gildo Mahones on the Jake Feinberg Show. That's fine. I mean, it still sounds pretty darn good, man. Did you play with some blues cats, like did some of the older cats, or was it?
Well, like I said, Joe Morris, he was a blues cat.
He was a band lead, R&B.
Yeah.
I want you to talk about the first time that you played with Lester Young and how he had different names for the tunes, and like how you adjusted on the fly. I think it's really important in order to get out of sort of the formula trip that we're in music today. Part of the reason you guys couldn't really develop a formula is because you didn't know what tunes were going to be called.
Well, what happened was when the first night when I joined, what happened, like I told you, I was with the band at Minton's with
Right.
Milton,
Percy,
and Jesse and Sonny Rollins. And Jesse worked with Prez all the time. When Prez was on time, he would get the band together. And so Prez at that time was a Jazz the Philharmonic. So that's why Jesse was working at Minton's. But anyway, Prez came back in town, so he told Jesse to get the band together. So the piano player I've been working with Prez before was what did I call it?
the junior,
Judy. Anyway, we went back to Chicago.
Junior Mance. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Percy got me. So that's how I joined Prez.
Right.
And the first time I think we played at Birdland on the first few gigs, they gave me a loose
Chord chart,
to let me know what we're going to play.
set list. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he had to list down. And he called, okay, we're playing the first 20. And he called it, but what he called wasn't on the list. So I'm looking for this pound cake that he called it, said pound cake. I'm looking, I don't see it on the list. So Percy turned around and said, it's whatever the song was. I'd like to do. That'll be another year.
Right.
They were standards.
There'll never be another you.
Yeah, they were regular standards, but he just had a different name for everything.
Why would he? What? How, I mean, he was just out there.
Yeah, so that was just something.
Did you play in free settings, like free jazz settings, like with Dolphy or any of those cats? Was there a loft? Like, did you?
I knew them, but I didn't play with them. But I knew them because they're a friend of mine. I guess Booker Irving was I guess the furthest one.
And Moody.
But Moody wasn't out. Booker was further out than Moody.
I saw the Moody painting over there on in the corner there.
He was one of our friends.
But those guys were in the Air Force. They were in the Air Force too.
Well, I was, but I didn't know anything about that.
Let me ask you, what got you to the West Coast? Why did you move to
my present wife was living out here, and I moved out here.
But you moved to Southern California.
Southern California.
And you met Bill Cosby then?
No, I moved out here to San Francisco.
You moved to San Fran. That's right. You played on that Jimmy Witherspoon album that I love so much.
Yeah, I moved out here first, and then I moved to Los Angeles, the Pied Piper, because I was working with Ike Isaacs. He had the trio at the Pied Piper.
Wow.
He was a bass player. We had been working together for years with Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross.
Really?
He was a bass player. And we had the trio, so the whole trio moved out here. He was out here, I moved out here, the drummer moved out here, Jimmy Smith, and drums. So we worked at this club backing up O.C. Smith, which was the singer there. So,
O.C. had a church down there too.
Yeah, but that was before he had the church.
It was before he had the church.
Yeah.
God, what a lesson, man. This is heavy.
That was before he had the church.
So you had a steady gig at the Pied Piper.
Right.
But you also found your way into the studio scene?
Yeah, well, there wasn't that many studio gigs for me at that time. I was more or less working in the Pied Piper, which was on Crenshaw in L.A. that was a steady gig, 6 nights a week, so it was pretty cool.
You want to talk about John Hendricks? We lost him.
Okay, but John Hendricks came on the scene before I came out here. I was like with Hendricks and Ross. And,
There's also Lambert, Hendricks, and Bavon, too.
right, yeah. After Annie went to England and stayed. So we had to get another singer. And Bavon do all the songs.
Right.
She joined the group. But anyway, I was the only piano player they had as far as Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross, and Lambert, Hendricks, and Bavon. But we had different bass players and different drummers and all that.
What is your fondest memory of John Hendricks? He passed away about a month ago, 2 months ago.
Oh my goodness, he was quite a character.
Did you ever play on Evolution of the Blues when it was on Broadway in San Francisco?
Yes. In fact, we did a reading of the first reading of the Evolution of the Blues in Monterey.
Ooh.
And he had, this was happening, it was on a Saturday afternoon, and he had different people from different genres.
Mm-hmm.
And like he had, for the African, when he was talking about the African
world,
influence,
the motherland.
He had Mary McKeever and Hugh Masekela, which were just in town. So he had them and give examples. And for the church people, he had Hannah Dean. Then he had a trio of girls, a gospel trio called the Andrew Sisters. Not the other Andrew Sisters. This is the Andrew Sister from the church. And they sang. Then he had Jimmy Witherspoon, Jimmy Russian.
Wow. And these people all were singing different parts of the Evolution of the Blues?
Right.
Wow.
In other words, whenever he had an example to give, like somebody to give an example of what he was talking about, he would call these people up, and they would do a song or something. So, because it wasn't a play or anything. It was just like talking, narration.
Absolutely. And there'd be musical interludes, I guess.
Right. Right, exactly. So,
and then I don't know if you heard either, but Masekela passed away.
Yes, I just heard about it.
Yeah, so, I mean, can you just, Gildo, talk about how you've always tried to play your music? What has it been always about touching people's hearts?
Well, you have to make that connection, with people.
How did you do that?
Well, I don't know.
Some cats would say they have to inspire themselves first and then project that, so that's projected to the audience, and then the collective consciousness is raised.
Well, that's one way of putting it.
How would Gildo put it, man? That's what I mean.
Well,
what has been your?
First, you have to get the feeling yourself first, and then it comes out into the audience. It goes out to the ether, whatever you want to call it. But
do you believe that you can only get that feeling by playing on the bandstand? Can you just be playing in your room on your headphones and get that feeling?
You get that feeling anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah. It's just there. It's either there or it's not there.
Right. And if it's not there, then you just shouldn't.
Well, I don't know. You should try to get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it doesn't mean that it's going to come out if it's not there. If it's there, it'll come out. Did
Thelonious used to come see you?
Well, I guess he did. I remember seeing him when I was playing with different groups. Different people would come out to
Minton's.
Minton's.
The Baroness would come.
Barris came out there.
Ray Bryant.
very bright. They would all come out at one time or another. And then when I got with Press, it would come out to Birdland. And like Billie Holiday would come up. And if Press saw them at Birdland, he would call them up to do a song.
But the difference is that you had no idea what they were going to call.
Right. Billy Eckstein, whoever was in the audience, he would call up. So naturally, not having worked with them, I didn't know what they were going to sing or whatever they were going to do. But most of them sang things that they figured, I guess I knew because it worked out okay.
Well, before we wrap up here, I'd like you to play a tune.
Boy.
To play a tune that Billie Holiday might call out for Gildo on the bandstand in Birdland as we wrap up here. And much love to you, Gildo, and people have been inspired watching this interview and have been inspired by your music over the years, man. So bless you, brother.
Thank you. Wow, you got me. I can't see.
Hey, my man, what's your grandson's name?
Rajan.
Hey, Rajan, come here. Come over here by your grandpa. You wanted to tell the audience what your name is?
Tell him.
Rajan.
Rajan, why do you love your grandpa? You've been crawling around here wanting to get in on this whole thing. So what do you like about your grandpa? Do you love your grandpa?
Yeah.
And that's all that matters,
Te
man.
amo. Te amo.
Thank you, brother. Gildo, thank you, my man.
Thank you.
Yes, that was yesterday you played.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, this is the Jake Feinberg Show. On the road. We'll be back again. Take care.